Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to Sportsify. I'm your host, Matt Novak. Alongside me, as always, Grant Hawker.
Always good to be back.
Joining us on the third mic tonight is our good buddy, Mike Connor.
How's it going?
Jameson is not with us because we have figured out over the years, as this is, I should introduce it, our pre-draft episode. Jameson's really bad at guessing. Like, he's just horrendously bad at making guesses. So he is bowed out of this episode to not further shame and dishonor his family name. But we will pick up with him on Thursday for our NFL Draft live episode.
My favorite episode. It's the best
episode of the year. Best episode.
I took the whole day off. Literally, just took a vacation day.
I'm tempted.
So
I'm tempted to.
I'm so excited right now.
Yeah,
I'm so pumped for it. We'll have all four of us in the room together again. We'll definitely go get some eats and sit down and watch insanity unfold as it always does. Will it be another Michael Penix year? Probably not, but maybe somebody loses their mind and drafts Sanders. Where they shouldn't if the Browns do some stuff.
Are we burying the lead a little bit?
Well, we'll get into it tonight. And then, or will it be one of those years where we get 15 trades in the first round? I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. None of us do.
The experts don't. The experts have said so themselves that they, after the first three picks, they're like, after that, who knows?
It's the middle is busy. The middle is very busy. We have no clue. It's what team needs are, not really what player value is. There's only two blue chip players that we're going to talk about on Thursday that everybody would say are the consensus no doubters. And after that, it's, hey, that guy's really good. So is that one. Is it going to work out? I don't know. Yep. But before we get to all of that, we're going to get into some free agency updates. We know it's been going on for a little bit. We've been absent post Super Bowl, doing what we normally do, taking a lot of the off season off. But as promised, we're here to do this tonight. We're going to have some fun. Man, I just want to get right into the chaos of paying people for their mediocrity, because that is what the NFL free agency has been so far. Let's just pay a corner that Matt didn't even know existed, $18 million a year. Let's just pay a guy who has missed 19 games in 2 years, $15 million a year to go play safety and hope he's good. Denver Broncos. Let's pay another dude coming off an Achilles injury for the 49ers. Speaking of rating our defense, where a guy played in what was it, Mike? 3 games? Dre make it to 3 games last year?
It wasn't even 3. It was like 2. It was like two and a half.
Two and a half games.
2 1/4. It was like 1 1/4. It was something like that. It was like 2 games that he was in.
Yeah, let's throw a real contract at him coming off an Achilles when he did not look himself and then got re-injured. It doesn't make any sense what we're watching happen around the league. I know I'm highlighting 2 49ers, but those were 2 guys that got massively overpaid. 49ers roster got raided by teams who were willing to spend.
Clean, dude.
Banks, the left guard from the Niners, Aaron Banks, goes to Green Bay. Pretty mediocre at left guard. Mike and I knew he's been very hit and miss.
And he set the market for guards. He was like the first guard to go. I think he was like the first to go and got paid an insane amount. And then every other guard was like, that's what we want.
That guy.
That's what we want right there.
I mean, bananas.
And we knew he was gone. It was to the point where we don't have the Niners line is not great. And we knew we weren't going to re-sign this guy. Yeah. We're just like, he hasn't been that great. See you later. And the Packers were like, bring the cash money. The crazier one to me is that our backup tackle signed as a starter for the Kansas City Chiefs. You're just like, what just happened?
I mean, that O-line, I know we talked about it, but that O-line got exposed. And also, they got rid of Tooney. They traded Tooney to the Bears. The Bears completely retooled. They got Dahlman from the Falcons, who's a okay center, but they paid him top money. Man, are we seeing the mediocrity?
Yeah, was it just today or yesterday that Cam Jurgens massively benefited from that signing? Became the second highest paid center in the league. I think 18 is what I saw. Only what's his face from Kansas City is making more. Creed Humphrey, is making more than him now. But yeah, like guys are just getting paid that are okay. I mean, if you lost guys, like I know the Niners are an easy one to pick on because they lost several in free agency. They also shipped Elijah Mitchell, their running back who had been the starter after McCaffrey went out. Got rid of him for a draft pick. But like if you're just looking around, like these teams they're letting go of people. If your team lost a guy, that other team that got him overpaid, like massively. And those first 2 weeks of free agency were just crazy. Just stupid what's getting tossed out there for this mediocrity. And so I don't worry, like buckle up, man. The draft cures all ills if your team doesn't suck at that. And there's still a lot of good guys, a ton of veterans just sitting on the market. Offensive lineman, if your team's in need, who doesn't need an extra offensive lineman? There's not one team out of the 32 doesn't need a guy. There's somebody out there, regardless of the situation, whether it's
Nick
center,
Chubb is a free agent.
Yeah, you want a stable running back. Like
Keenan Allen. There's a good chunk of wide receivers that are still out there and available.
Still can't believe he's not a Raven. Still can't believe it,
dude. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, Murray's out on the free agent market. Like there is so much going on in terms of availability. What in the world, by the way, one that I know we're going to get to some other stuff in just a second. Stephon Diggs? Are you kidding me? That contract?
What I am more crazy about is how the crud were they not willing to give a second round pick for someone like DK Metcalf?
No kidding.
Why were they not willing to do that? And then they'd rather go stick with Stephon Diggs, who came off a torn ACL, who's known to be a cancer in the locker room everywhere he goes.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that was one of my biggest hardest. Like I don't even understand. Like how do you?
I mean, I get they. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I was about to say something, but I don't know if I agree with it. I mean, I'd probably rather have Keenan Allen. Like the dude just goes over and will catch 80 balls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
I'd rather Mark Cooper.
He's a great vet. Yes, they're both great veteran presence. They're both team guys. Like Amari Cooper keeps his head down, shuts up, and plays ball.
You probably could have gotten Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper for Stephon Diggs. Probably. You got two quality guys.
And obviously Keenan Allen's lost a step, but dude, those hands haven't.
Nope.
They're there. I mean, and he still makes guys look stupid. He gets you over running one direction and quick stops, turned around, got the ball, first down. I would definitely still rather have Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper than Diggs right now, just because I understand like Diggs' big play makeability, like that's been a thing his whole career, but he's coming off, like you just said, Grant, a big injury. Yeah. And then
but like, he's older. It's not like he's like 26 and tore his ACL. Yeah. He's early 30s, right?
He's on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah, and then tore his ACL. That's completely different.
Totally.
Because nowadays, different. I mean, the ACL thing, it's not as bad as it used to be. It's not a career ender anymore, but it means a little more when you're that age.
Yep, it definitely does.
The only thing I will say about the Diggs is they can get out of his contract after 1 year.
Yeah.
He's got $22 million guaranteed, and most that's hits this year. So, like after this year, if you're not liking what you're seeing, you're just like, boop, thanks for holding the line for us for 1 year.
I'm not knocking on wood.
You had to give. Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, and obviously
it'll be 1 year.
He's easily the best wide receiver they've had in that room for half a decade.
A while. Yeah, no, for
like,
sure.
For like, to be fair.
Yeah.
Definitely the best wide receiver they've had. But I definitely think that they're going to try to address that in the draft, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot that happened. There's a lot that's still going to happen. This week determines the rest of the market. But the thing that we can really be sure of is everybody that was going to get paid got paid. Because after this week, you're just trying to find a roster spot as a veteran.
Yep.
And truly, like, there's no outside of the re-signing. Like the Niners are working on the Brock Purdy deal. That's going to be probably the biggest contract coming. I don't think there's anything else that's going to be near that. No other quarterbacks, nothing like that we're expecting is going to hit that number.
I don't think so.
So, there's some stuff that's going to happen on the re-sign. We got a lot of the 5th-year options to pick up by May 1st. I love that they always schedule the draft literally right before you got to make that decision on those 5th-year options, which would be 2026 money. And I was just reading an article today, walking down the list of who's got the 5th-year option and the teams from the 2022 20, did I say it right? The 22 draft that are looking at those options on all those players, and several really interesting ones that haven't yet been signed, restructured, got something coming. I mean, like we imagine Aiden Hutchinson's just going to sign a deal. We're not exercising the 50-year option on that guy, but he is coming off an injury, so there's probably some number play that the team's going to do based on that. That's how that works. Since he got hurt, but they're going to honor him. He's going to make Bosa money. Like,
oh yeah,
I think he's going to be in that realm.
Yep.
He's not. He might not get Miles money. I don't know if he's going to get Miles.
Oh well, we even
money.
talked about that, right? We even mentioned that $40 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but okay. To be fair, I don't put him in the category of like mediocre, getting paid crazy money. He is, a top talent. Top 15 player in the league, probably. But, dude,
yeah,
that's
bananas. It's the worst front office right now in the league.
I don't know, because there's another. I'll just say it because I'll get there. Because there's another team in that division. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase just got paid at the same time, like the same day, the same night. That news dropped, and with that, I saw the most insane stat I've ever seen. If you combine Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, 3 players, they make up 44% of the entire cap space. 3 players making up 44.5% of their cap space. 41% next year. Insane. I don't care who it is. That's stupid.
50. By the way, there's 50 more players on that team that count against the cap.
Yes. 44%.
Burrow is going to be running for his life yet again from that offensive line that they can't afford.
Yes.
And he's still going to throw for like 4,000 yards and like 35 touchdowns.
Bro, I'm not saying
that 89 and miss the playoffs.
Bro, and they're going to miss the playoffs. They're going to score 40 a game and miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, you got to pay those guys. But T. Higgins also in that realm, like that's where it's like.
Everybody else knows that math don't work, dude. Because you can't resign your game-breaking defensive end who's been top 5 in sacks.
He led the league last year. Led last year. Yep. 18.
Yep.
Dude.
40, you can't sign him. You can't do it.
44%.
And that dude wasn't even going to ask for Bosa money.
No.
He wasn't going to ask for it. Like, he literally said, I know we need Joe on this team, so I'm not going to do it. And then they go and sign both of those guys to those deals. It's crazy, dude. Higgins should not be on this team.
No.
I'm not because he's bad. We have sang his praises many times. Dude's a number 1 and almost anywhere else in the league. Almost. Vikings got something to say about that. So do a couple other teams. But still.
This is what a good team does. And this is why Cincinnati's so bad.
Yep.
A good team tags Higgins,
trades him,
goes to the Patriots, who are wide receiverless with a young, good quarterback,
who are paying no money to anybody.
Yeah, who literally can break the bank on this dude, and they say, "Give us your second round pick," which, by the way, is like the 34th pick in the draft or something like that. That is what a good team does.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you go draft one of these top wide receivers who will still be there. You replace that right away. Right away. You go get Golden from Texas.
McMillan. Yeah. I mean, take somebody.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
because they're drafting in the middle of the first round. They're getting a big cap opportunity to get one of the top wide receivers in the draft. And then they're like, oh, now we have all these other holes instead of getting rid of our wide receiver that we literally is just a luxury for us. Because you have the best receiver in the league, arguably, already. And Higgins is great, and you want him out there. But there's so many other players that you can just go get one of those awesome tight ends. That's just going to help fill your roster or something like that.
Yep. Go get a running back.
And go get
go get one of the five starting tackles.
Yeah,
oh my goodness,
great tackles that are in this first round.
No kidding,
great offensive tackles, and keep Joe Burrow upright. I totally agree. Go rob the Pats 100%. Dangle Higgins out in front of them. Do the thing. Get the 34th pick. I mean, you can go grab that running back from. Oh no, I'm gonna blank.
Are in Hampton
guy
from
the East Coast,
from
dude?
North Carolina.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I'm very happy.
Yeah, like you can go get him early second round. He might be the best running back or have the best career of any of these guys right now, of anybody in this draft. So like, I totally agree. You wouldn't even take Burrow off because he'd still have his boy.
He'd understand.
He'd completely understand. They're like, listen, dude, we just want to keep you healthy. We love T. Nothing wrong with T. We're gonna go draft you a receiver. Yep. We're gonna go sign Keenan Allen. We're going to go do whatever we can do to make us competitive, but we need you upright. So we're going to go get an offensive tackle with our first pick.
Okay. And then also invest in the defense because holy cow, is that defense abysmal?
Well, that was also, I mean, yes, you've been through, you had a coordinator scenario that was not working out, and you need to pull the plug on that sooner. I would say scheme, but also remember what they let go. You let an all-pro safety go the year before in free agency for not a lot. You know, in
that's Bates, what they're doing.
I mean,
yeah, that's what they're doing. They're just
piece by piece by piece.
I feel so bad. This ownership is it's so weird because they're so cheap in so many other ways. Like they won't spend that money on a Jesse Bates, but then they'll go drop this. And also, if they had done this last year, like Mike, I think you said this in our text thread. If they'd done this last year, they would have saved millions of dollars if they did this last year.
If they'd have paid T. Higgins last year, would have saved so much money.
I've been in the same scenario.
So yeah, you could have paid both wide receivers last year and saved tons of money instead of waiting.
Or honestly,
I don't understand it.
That Mike, to your point too, the tag is not bad. In terms of the wide receiver market, he'd be getting paid $24 million is the number, correct?
No, that's nothing now, number. Dude.
I mean, DK just signed for 30. Yeah, the Niners are paying their top guy 30. Like, it would have been $6 million under the going rate for a top 10 wide receiver, and they'd have a second top 10 wide receiver with a tag. Who's really all that mad about it? I understand T wants that long-term money, but that 24 becomes guaranteed, just like last year. And you know, and if he's really ticked, they shop him. And there's plenty of teams that are wide receiver needy that would have gone after it eventually. And he has no say. He has no control over his contract on that tag. He can't deny the trade. So, like, I don't understand it at all. I don't know why they signed him. I still will say this. After saying all that, you guys, the Browns are much worse. Like, they're much worse off. Yeah. You have a quarterback that can't play games that you're busy paying $250 million to. You just signed some dude to above average quarterback money who, yes, is a top 15 player in the league. But and I get that it's the other position that you pay. I get it.
Yeah.
100%. But you're rewarding the guy for wanting to leave, by the way. That's what you're doing. Because he said, I'm not doing it. And then they're like, here's $40 million. Like, never mind, I'm doing it. Yeah. They literally cave to player demands and do the dumbest crap. They're a nightmare. They're going to be horrible. They have the second pick in the draft. They're going to screw it up no matter what happens. We're going to get to that here in just a couple minutes.
They're going to draft Sanders or something.
But lastly, I want to hit one more team before we go to our draft stuff tonight because we're going to play a game, have a little bit of fun. There is 31 teams in this league, and I'm including the Browns, that have a plan for the most important position in sports. 31. You look at the Browns, well, you know what they're going to do, okay? If Watson gets back at some point, they're going to throw him out there. They just signed Flacco, which none of us are sad about. We freaking love that. And if we're being really, really honest, there's like an 80% chance that they're going to draft Sanders.
Yeah.
There's like an 80% chance. You bring in Flacco to sit behind a guy, and everybody was like, oh, why would they do that? That's going to be a completely different. No, Flacco is a shotgun quarterback who just got done backing up AR-15 this last year. Okay.
AR-5.
Sorry, I said AR-5. That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It legit did in Indy, and absolutely coached that dude as much as he would allow himself to get coached. As the backup there. It's a perfect fit. It's a home run. It makes sense. If they're going after Sanders, who literally only plays in shotgun, and you're bringing in Flacco, perfect. Makes total sense. Move on from Deshaun Watson however you can. Bite the bullet on that. Bye-bye. Like, figure it out. If that's what they do, even they have a plan. Okay?
Yeah.
Even the dumb team has a plan. All right? One team, shockingly, has zero plan.
No. What are you talking about, dude? They got Mason Rudolph, bro.
The Steelers are drafting at 21. They have no options. There's a chance Jackson Dart is gone by 21. They have nothing. The free agency has completely passed them up. There is nothing to draft. There's nowhere to go. Are they seriously going to go trade for a backup quarterback, all a Sam Darnold move, what the Vikings did, and try and make him a starter? Are we just like hoping a prayer right now? I mean, like, they have no plan. The Vikings have decided they're going with J.J. McCarthy, who's coming off an injury. Okay, but that makes sense. Tua is going to battle head injuries all year, but he's still the plan. Freaking Carolina figured out what Bryce is, and they're like, that's our plan.
Bryce showed up.
No plan in Pittsburgh. Zero plan. Dude. What are you doing? What are you doing? You signed a wide receiver to $30 million a year deal and no one to throw him the ball.
Thank you. That's what, dude, crazy. Insane what they are doing. And why do you want to be in a position where you're going to be on your hands and knees, hands clasped for Aaron Rodgers? If you're ever in that situation, ever at this stage in his career, you have fumbled the bag.
Shot yourself in the leg. So bad. You're waiting for this dude to come off his ayahuasca to save your season. You're out of your freaking mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, dude, it ain't going to happen.
Have fun with dented head Mason Rudolph.
He can give you seriously, he can give you, speaking of Rodgers, he can give you a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio and get most of that in garbage time, which is what he did for the Jets last year. You're one of the older defenses right now in the league. You got holes to fill. You got things to figure out. Your running back is gone. Yep. You need to figure this out. This is the most important thing to figure out, and they have screwed up with Rodgers, which I don't even understand why they're flirting with it. It doesn't make any sense. That's done. Everybody sees the writing on the wall except for the people inside that room. Whoever's making decisions, like really making decisions, because I understand it's a very involved ownership. Whoever's making decisions has not made one, and we are at the end of April. Everybody else knows what they're doing.
I mean, maybe
you know what's even crazy? What's even crazier is they're still going to make the playoffs. They're still going to be a 500 team or above 500 team, and they're going to make the playoffs. And I don't even know how it happens, but it's the Steelers. That's what they're planning. Like that's in their head, right? Because everybody's saying like, oh, it's the Steelers. They're going to be fine. They'll go 10 and 7 and make the playoffs. They'll go 9 and whatever and make the playoffs, and you're just 9 and 8 and make playoffs, and you're just like, yeah, but you're just going to lose in the first round by 20 points again. Like, what?
But is the other plan Kirk Cousins? Is the other plan Kirk Cousins?
I mean,
it would have to be.
Yeah,
right. Like, is there some behind the door handshake?
But I don't know though.
We can bite the bullet on this for 1 year. Like,
I mean, if you look at stats, I mean, Rodgers at the end of the year played better. Again, this team was in games that didn't matter.
Right.
But he threw like 28 touchdowns, or whatever. Kirk Cousins was horrifying in Atlanta. Well, like even worse than Rodgers.
But we know now there was an injury that he did not disclose.
Oh, I did not see that. All right.
Oh yeah, no, there was an injury that he did not disclose originally. It was even a surprise to some of the Falcons' upper management. Apparently it was known inside the quarterback room. And the quarterback coach did say, yeah, we thought he might be battling something, and there was a tear. So he admitted, like, I did not disclose that. I wanted to play football. Like, I thought I could just battle it out, and it was a poor choice.
It's just such a dumb decision though for this team, like especially with DK. Like, not even me trying to be like a salty fan or anything, because I'm not. But like, this team is old, and then you just go pay a guy so much money where you're essentially then you're going to be in the same boat that the Seahawks were this past year, where they're trying to pay Tyler Lockett. Like, they're not on the right timetable for the rest of the team, where you're like having to make decisions. Like, they're gonna trade DK in like 2 years because they're not going to be on the right timetable. They're in the same boat. We're like, dude, we're paying this guy how much money? We've got our team is young. We got to pay these young guys that we're drafting. We're not on the same timeline here. Like, that's what they're going to do. They're so satisfied with 9 and 8. I'm sorry, Steelers fans. You're delusional. Is 9 and 8 a success to any other team? No, it's not.
No,
it's not.
And the Ravens going to have their playoff spot, by far the most complete team in that division. And that's the only team that will make the playoffs this year. That's it. And Mike, I'm going to say it. I have no problem saying it now. I understand I should probably give it a couple of days. But I've been sitting here thinking about this. I'm sitting on my high horse right now, so we're just going to ride this one out. They will not be 500 this year. They fumbled the ball on this. This is the time.
Yeah.
You lost your run game.
Listen.
You literally don't have a running back and a quarterback going into the draft. And
Mason Rudolph can throw the ball down the field 50 yards, 60 yards.
He can to the other team.
Yeah.
And Metcalf can outrun anybody. So they've got a plan.
But he can't catch.
Not
reason
just
he's making $30 million somewhere outside of Seattle, because if he could catch the ball,
they'd never let him go.
He'd be there. All right, we need to get into it. We got a lot to say about the draft, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun here. We understand that we are not professionals, so we're gonna act unprofessional.
Nope, we're absolutely the most well-educated football savants, and we're gonna prove it right.
Yeah. Yep. Well, one of us is delusional.
Even though we've actually been wrong on the Steelers every year, dude, we've clanged the bell. The Steelers aren't making the playoffs, and they've made them every single year that this show has been a thing.
I don't say things like that.
No, we all said we're like, yeah, they're trash. Like last year, we said they were trash. It's a trash team.
They were trash.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean,
we were like freaking out when they're 4-2. We're like, oh no, are they going to be good? And then they're like, JK, we're just going to play Rust and suck.
For Steelers fans, they think it's good. So, anywho, so we're doing our draft. We are acting as GM essentially. So we are on a rotation as to who we'll be picking, but to do that, we are leaving it up to chance. So let me share my very sophisticated system I got here. Can you guys see my screen?
We can
over here.
See.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yep. So, you're good.
To randomize who goes first and second, obviously third person, that'll just be how it goes. So really, to decide 1 and 2, I'm going to click and spin the wheel. And all right, Mike, you are going to be picking number 1, so you will be.
Well, that's easy.
All right, we're clapping. All right, close. All right, and for number 2, unless it's Mike again. Unless it's Mike again. Call
it Grant. We're good.
Should we just call it me?
Just call it Grant. That's close enough.
Yeah, we'll just call it me. All right, so then Matt, you'll be picking third.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so the rule is we got 30 seconds, Mike. Turn in our pick.
Okay. Did we set the rules that we're just doing this as what I want to happen, or what I think they should do, or what I think they're going to do?
I think we're going likely. We're shooting for likely here.
Okay.
So we got to base this off team needs, all that fun stuff.
So I'm just going to throw down Cam Ward. The whole world knows that's what the pick is. He's got the best. He's the most complete athlete at the quarterback position that will be ready to go sooner than some of the others. He's got the highest floor with a really good ceiling. Some would say Sanders has a higher floor. I would agree. But for future number 1 pick, Cam Ward, quarterback, let's go.
I have nothing to add. It's absolutely what's going to happen.
Yeah. No, they need that. Okay, number 2.
Go.
This is where they can go so many different ways. And I think they go Travis Hunter. I think that's what they do. I think they go Travis Hunter because I think they just paid Myles Garrett. I think that they desperately need someone. They need someone to sell butts and seats, and I think Travis Hunter does that. He's the unicorn, and I think he's the most fun player in this draft. I think there's an element of that because also this organization is stupid. So I think they're going to go Travis Hunter. That's what I think.
It fills 2 needs.
It fills 2 needs,
and he can do both.
Yeah,
and he probably will do both.
Yes,
which is ridiculous to say in this day and age.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I think they're going to do. Take Travis Hunter. Oh, also we should say this: we're not doing any trades because that's impossible to. That's impossible. That's impossible to try and figure out.
And there's not likely to be too many trades in this draft. I don't.
No, I think there's a lot of sticking and picking.
Guys. Yeah, there's going to be we like this guy, and his value is the same for like the next 10 picks. So we might as well pick him here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, Matt.
All right. So I've got the Giants, who made a few moves in the offseason. I do think this is what they're going to do. They went and got Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, so they have filled up the quarterback room, in my opinion. Okay, I don't think they're gonna pull the Sanders trigger, if you will.
If they did, they'd probably have to get rid of Winston.
Yes,
that's what I would think.
Yeah, because you got to at least give a guy that you pick in the top 3 a shot to play. And if those 2 dudes are still in the room, probably not going to get that. Outside of that, New York's next need would be offensive line. While normally I would just go Campbell here, in any other scenario, the fact that you have a blue chip defensive end available, pass rusher available, I'm going to take Abdul Carter at the 3 spot for New York. They definitely need to be able to get after the quarterback a little more consistently. They've got Burns, they've got Thibodeau. Thibodeau's been a nice piece, but hasn't necessarily produced. He also has an injury history that complicates things for them off and on. I think that Abdul Carter is an absolute home run. And while I know he's coming off the foot thing, he's a monster. He's absolutely terrifying. And a lot of people have Hunter and him ranked 1, 2 as their best available players. And it makes perfect sense to me. So if he gets here at 3, I'm doing it. I think Giants got to do it. And I think it's a likely scenario.
And I think it works out really good for them because you have, like you said, Thibodeau, who has shown himself to be a really good rotational pass rusher. He's not necessarily, he's shown not to be like a 3-down guy, right?
Right.
You don't necessarily want him out there all the time. And Abdul Carter, this is the first year he had his hand in the dirt. This is the first time he's actually played defensive end. Otherwise, he's been off-ball linebacker. And so, like, you have this, now you have this moldability to be able to move this line around as needed, depending on situation. Like that, defensive coordinators like salivate over that ability to be like, I need Thibodeau in there to be pass rush, but I need you also in there to do this other thing. We can do that because we have all the pieces. So I love it. This is worst case scenario for the New England Patriots.
I was just about to say that. That is
every single Patriots fan, everyone in the Patriots building, they want Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. They would literally jump over the moon for either one of those guys, and they're not here.
I just don't think they will be. In whatever order this goes, they won't.
Yeah. Like there's no. It's really hard to do anything but Will Campbell here as a tackle. You have to protect your dude.
Yeah.
You have to protect your dude. Graham, okay, maybe is like one of the other ones that you could go with, but as a need you have anyway for filling up, you got to protect your young quarterback. You have Diggs now, quote unquote, your wide receiver, and it's too high. This is too high for all the wide receivers. Yeah. This is too high for the cornerbacks.
There isn't an insane blue chip wide receiver.
No, and you do have 4 or 5 really good offensive tackles that will not last outside of the first round.
Yeah.
And then you start getting into like the lower quality of offensive tackles. You might as well get your pick of the litter. Will Campbell might have the little bit shorter arms that people were talking about, but he played at LSU for a starter for years, and you didn't see that as an issue against some of the best defenses in college football, including Georgia. The dude ate up pass rushers, no problem. Will Campbell, New England Patriots, number 4. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well,
bingo.
Next up, we've got the Jaguars, and their defensive line's terrible. So I think they definitely go defensive line here. I think they're going to go Mason Graham. I think that makes sense. They need defensive end, defensive line. I could see them maybe going after Walker instead if they want that, but I'm going to go with Mason Graham here. I think honestly they're happy with either one of those two. They just need something on the defensive line, so I'm going to go Mason Graham.
That makes perfect sense. This is shaping up exactly the way I've been viewing it, what I thought would happen. That would lead right into pick 6 and the Raiders, and I think the Raiders get the opportunity to make a home run choice for them. For them. This is not for everybody.
Yep.
But they need improvement on the offensive side of the ball.
Yes, sir.
And while they do need to address corner and linebacker because they lost some dudes free agency, this is the absolute best pick that they could make.
Absolutely.
They're going to take Ashton Genty from Boise State to come play running back. Number 1 PFF grade in all of college football. If Travis Hunter wasn't playing last year, the best player in college football, this is a no-doubter to me. The Raiders got to do it. And so I think they swing for it. They already got Geno in the offseason. You know, Pete Carroll is an identity guy. They know that they have to improve the offensive side of the ball first and be consistent there. That's why they went and got Mr. Consistency with Geno. And now he's got a real dude to hand the ball off to. And he's already got, a great tight end. I think they're going to go wide receiver in the second round as well. Yeah. I think they're going to double down on offense. Wouldn't be surprised with that at all. And so I love this pick for the Raiders.
Yep.
This next one's kind of hard. You've got your young QB there with Fields that they're going to try out, see if they got something there. But this is I'm going to give him one of my favorite guys in the draft. And because he reminds me of one of my favorite players in the NFL, and I'm going to go with, let's give him Tyler Warren, tight end.
Hey.
He reminds me so much of Kittle. He can block on the ball. He's a menace with the ball in his hands. He just bowls people over. He loves going and hitting people, and he does everything, right? And so he's just going to be like that. He's going to be that slash character for your offense, and he's one of the best players in this draft, I think. So that's where I'm going with that. This could be an offensive tackle, I get it, but for me, he's going to help out with the run game. He's going to help out with pass protection when you need him to. He's also just a great over the middle, catch 4, go 10 kind of guy. So let's do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
For number 8, I think this is actually pretty easy for the Panthers. I'm looking at some of the stuff. I did not realize this. The Panthers gave up the most points in a single season in NFL history. That defense was atrocious. So I think this is absolutely where Jalen Walker lands. I think that's where they definitely need a guy on defense, close to the ball in that front seven. They need somebody. They got J.C. Horn in the back there, paid him some money. I think they go Jalen Walker here to try and not be the worst statistical defense in NFL history. Still something they should try to do.
It's a goal they should have.
Yeah,
it really is. Man, that makes perfect sense. Now I'm real stuck right here because the Saints come up next on the clock, and there is a huge question mark. Their franchise quarterback, Derek Carr, is looking at a very serious shoulder injury that could keep him out for the entire year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if he's out for the entire year, my understanding is on his contract, this is it, right?
I mean, get out of it. They can get out of it.
I think they can walk on this. So you have to make an internal decision because there's two things you do here. You go, okay, we're gonna stick with our guy. We're gonna see what happens with this injury, and we'll take a quarterback later, and appease Carr here. Or they can say,
why do you care? Why do you care to appease Derek Carr? Right?
I'm just showing both sides. Grant,
I know. That'd be stupid of them to do that.
Yes, I agree. But they have several needs. I mean, genuinely, they could go all over the board. They need help at corner. They need offensive line help, and there's a really good offensive lineman here. They could do lots of stuff. I'm gonna phrase it two ways, and then we can make a joint decision on this one. I'm gonna need a little help here. So they're either taking Sanders at quarterback and taking the next step, or, and I know Mike will like this pick a lot, they are going to go offensive line and take, say it for me, Mike.
Boo.
Yep. Thank you.
Remember? Yeah.
Yep. They're going to take Armand out of Missouri, and he will make perfect sense to slot in anywhere really on the offensive line. Like he is fantastic. And he is an amazing zone blocker in the run game. But I think it's one of those two scenarios. Help me out, guys. What do you think is more likely? Are they going offensive line here, or would they take the risk?
They drafted Spencer Rattler, and they don't know what they have with that kid yet.
I didn't think of that.
I think it's likely it's Kellen Moore, right? He took the job over there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's likely they find out what they got. They don't know if Carr's going to be out for all season. Maybe this injury is not as bad.
That's fair.
It's mixed reports from everywhere. Like nobody really knows if this is season ending.
Well, some people are wondering if it's just a ploy for him to get out too.
Yeah, like we're it's very unsure like exactly what's going on. And so if Carr is their guy and they're fine with it, took the job knowing that he had Carr. Obviously, he seems like he's going to be okay with that. Even if he's not, you have Rattler, who you just drafted last year in the second round or something like that. Third round. I don't remember exactly what you're on. Anyway, so you have that player, and you're like, well, let's see what we got. Let's go and build our team. We have Arch Manning coming out next year. So if we're bad, we got Arch Manning next year. If Rattler's the dude, then we got a dude, right? So I think that's kind of in the building. That's the way I would think about it. But if they've seen Rattler and they're like, this is the dude, then you go get Sanders, who I think has a bad rap in what's going on. You have a dude that has seriously overperformed on a terrible team. That Colorado defense was terrible. You were fighting for your life.
But his dad comes with him, Mike.
That offensive line was one of the worst in the league.
It was.
They had no running game. Every team knew Shedeur was throwing it almost every single play, and the dude was still 70% accuracy.
Yep.
That is special numbers.
Yep.
And people need to realize that 70% accuracy and everyone knows you're throwing the ball every play. That's special accuracy. So and yeah, there's some scheming there that gets your guys open. It's lack of, defenses that you're playing because you're in the Big 12 or whatever it is. But
okay. But what you're kicking me is that it's Membu over Sanders for this.
That's what I would do
with the new head coach.
If it was me. Yeah.
Okay. All right, then that's what we're going to take for number 9.
All right.
Got me picking 2 times in a row. Man.
Well, it might be 3 here because I'm going to need your guys' expertise on number 11 here. But, all right.
Yeah. So, this team has taken the guy they wanted probably just went, really. To finish up their offensive line. Ormond Membu probably was the last piece they needed. And I think it's a little too rich for the next tackle for the Bears here. Oh man, this is a really tough spot. I think Josh Simmons would be okay. Too early for any of the guards. They just picked up the guards. Walter Nolan, nope, none of those tackles are going to work. They do need some defense. Let's give them a defensive end to go with to pick up this pass rush.
I think there's a good pick here.
Yeah, who do you got?
I like Mike Green here. A little bit. I like Mike Green. Defensive end out of Marshall, 250 pounds, 6'4", led the nation in sacks. He's crazy. I understand.
I always have an issue. I have an issue with some of those lower. I'm looking at literally I'm like Shamar Stewart. No, Nick's no.
Do they play 3-4? Right. Do they play 3-4?
No.
Bears?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, then never mind. I lied. Don't take him.
I think let's go Mike Green. It's either that or Barron, but no, let's go Mike Green. This is the big one. They could go anywhere. This could be the kid from North Carolina, right? This could be a running back right here to fill out their room with.
Could be.
But yeah, but I don't know. I don't like him that high. I really don't like him that high.
No, I don't.
This would have to be a trade if they didn't get their guy trade down scenario.
Ashton Genty would have been like heaven for them at this point.
Yeah.
Or even Armand Membu, I think, would have been like, that guy. We can put him anywhere. Our offensive line's perfect. If
Yeah.
Williams doesn't succeed, this is all on him at that point, right? But let's
Yeah.
go Mike Green, defensive end. He's going to rush, put his hand in the dirt, and just rush the passer all day long.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Take some pressure off Sweat off the other side.
All right. The San Francisco 49ers. So, I mean, like we said, probably the most picked apart team in free agency and or just by like the most holes, maybe arguably on a team. Arguably at least. Is it defensive line is a big need?
Defensive line's the biggest need. I'm going to get up on a soapbox real quick. I took my hat off even.
Oh,
there's so many people that are saying like this team's been picked apart, but most everyone they lost wasn't even a starter last year. Just throwing that out there. Most everyone they lost was either injured most of the year and didn't play anyway, or had lost their like Talanoa Hufanga only played a couple games because Mufasa, the kid they drafted last year, was better. Yeah. Dre Greenlaw was hurt and
Ward was the one, really, but
Charvarius Ward, Green, second round pick last year, played for him, and they had the number 10 pass defense in the league last year with almost all rookies in the backfield or in the defensive back. So they're all like, we're gonna roll with these guys. We can let those guys go, right? So that's the only Pearson that they left that they actually chased was Dre Greenlaw. They went and visited him after he was going to sign with the Broncos, and they're like, no, come home. We're going to give you more money. And he's like, you guys came to me too late. I'm already going.
Yeah.
Other than that, they were ready to go. I mean, there are still Hall of Famers on this team, ready to go. All right. So I think this team, not saying they're going to be great. I don't think it's as bad as everyone's saying, but there are no starting defensive tackles on this entire team.
So is it Walter Nolan?
It's not a bad.
That's where I was leaning.
Fit.
That's what I was leaning.
It's a good fit.
It's a really good fit. If because the Niners don't play a 3-4 either. This is four dudes holding gaps, doing their job, setting edge, and coming through. And Nolan's is good on pass rush, absolutely, and he commands a double team all the time. Doesn't matter which side he's playing. He's going to command a double team all the time, and he's just explosive. So, to me, great fit for the 49ers. Probably not necessarily everybody's pick right here, but if Graham is gone, which he should be, this makes the most sense.
Well, yeah, because I just go after that, there's a gap, and I feel like if you're drafting some other linemen, like defensive linemen, it's a little rich.
Yeah.
This is something kind of unique that I've been hearing, that I've read, that I've looked at myself, is from here down through the first round, it's kind of who your favorite guy is.
Yeah.
They're so close in rankings from here on out that you're just like, if we take Derek Harmon here, is that really different from Walter Nolan? Probably not.
But that Harmon shouldn't be going. Harmon shouldn't be going here. Like,
I don't know. If the team likes him better, then that's who you go with. Like, and I don't think, but the grading is not that different between them.
But I don't want to be Bill Belichick drafting an offensive guard from a school that nobody's ever heard of. Okay.
But everyone knows who Harmon is. He's a first rounder still.
Well,
so
I know that some people have a first round grade on him. I don't know that he's a first rounder, but I know a lot of people. I know that there are plenty of people who do have that grade.
Well, again, we have to recognize that a first round grade in this draft is not the same as a first round grade in all these other drafts.
It's fair because there's a lot of the middle.
Well, I mean, what's the thing that Daniel Jeremiah has been saying? A lot of starters, not stars, in this draft.
Tons of them.
Yep.
Tons of them.
And both of the guys we just mentioned are both starters.
Yeah.
They're both going to be starters in this league.
Yeah, for sure.
And the only other thing I would throw out there, and he's on the board still, and it's a glaring need because Greenlaw left, is I would take a look. If I'm the Niners, I'd take a look here if he's there, at Jihad Campbell.
Yeah.
Jihad Campbell, linebacker from Alabama. He's probably the best Sam guy put in there next to Warner, and eventually maybe even take over for Warner. That kind of guy.
Sure.
But it's a need, but it's something that I'm pretty sure the Niners think they're going to get third round.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. No, I think, but I mean, to answer it, Grant, it's Nolan.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
think
best
so too.
overall fit. It's the best overall
I
fit.
think so too.
I have my least favorite team in the NFL to pick for.
Oh yeah, you.
Um, and the Dallas
Go
Cowboys. I'm
draft
selecting
someone
12.
stupid. Go draft someone stupid.
No, I'm giving them the best player on the board. They do have a glaring need at wide receiver outside of CeeDee Lamb. They don't got nothing. I do believe that this is where McMillan goes. First wide receiver off the board at
You're gonna take
12.
Tate McMillan
I'm going to take McMillan.
over the
I
little
am.
guy. You're gonna take the big guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm going to take McMillan. I have a much higher grade on McMillan overall. And I think that's the fit.
I mean, he's a plug and play.
Yep.
You put him anywhere. Yeah.
6'5", 212 pounds. He's the top PFF grade any wide receiver in college football. That it's just the potential. His ceiling's just higher, and you've already got CeeDee. Like that's just a banging 1-2. They would give the Bengals a run for their money on the best wide receiver room in the league. If this guy really is everything we think he is. So.
And he's a throw it up there, and he's gonna climb the ladder and get the ball kind of thing.
Yeah, he's a playmaker, man, and he's 22 years old. I also love that coming out after his junior year. He's young, so you should hopefully get 7-8 great years out of him. And again, 6'5", 212. Holy cow, that's awesome. So, yep,
he's a big dude. I'm gonna go with. I got the Dolphins next. They need defensive line help. They also need a linebacker. So I'm thinking.
Ooh, I will remind you, Terran Armstead, gone. He retired.
Yeah.
I think that's their number one need.
Well, and they're also getting rid of a cornerback. I'm looking at maybe Will Johnson here.
I don't hate that.
That's
probably second highest.
Very, very similar. Jihad Campbell wouldn't be a bad pick for them at all. He's a good.
Remember, they also lost Javon Holland. This is a roster that is not looking good either.
Holes. It's got some holes in it for sure.
Yep.
You guys are gonna push me in here. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go an offensive tackle.
Okay.
Banks.
Let's go Kelvin Banks Jr. I think that's where we're gonna go. I went around the whole gambit, and yeah, let's settle on Banks Jr. here.
Wow, I think it's a little bit of a reach. But I mean, I could see it if they drop down a little bit. I Josh Simmons is on the board.
Simmons, he was injured last year. He hasn't played in almost a year since the Oregon game.
That's fair.
And some teams and he still hasn't worked out for like anybody yet. So I think that'll drop him a little bit. I think he's going to be better if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, then you don't want to take that chance. So I think as a healthy dude, Banks is the way to go.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I have
interesting.
Okay, so I've got the Colts.
That put you in a spot.
Dude, I don't know. Cause like I'm looking at like some of their needs. This is I guess this is the year to I think they should probably have it already answered because if they're not living in delusion. But I don't think Anthony Richardson is a guy. I don't think so. But they probably still think so. He's still young. So you go offensive line. Is it too rich for what's his face? Lulstand or whatever his name is?
Loveland?
Loveland.
I think tight end might be the one of the bigger needs here. But he's not a blocking tight end either.
They are going to be
really have a tight end.
Super hopeful that the Jets pass on Tyler Warren, which I think would be a mistake. But they're going to be super hopeful on that because he could fall here based on other team needs.
Yeah.
So I get why you would go that direction. I want to throw out one interesting thing for you before you make selection, because I think there's a couple of things that make sense here. I'm going to go back. Sorry, in my stuff. I think that this is where Jihad Campbell might drop.
Oh yeah, you didn't take him. You didn't take him. That's right.
No. You didn't take him. I really
actually I like that
linebacker
more.
goes.
I like that more.
Yeah.
Actually, I do.
They've struggled to solidify this.
Funny. The second you named him, I just removed him from my. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Jod Campbell. Yes, that's what I was looking at before you
Okay.
had mentioned him. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I just think it's a little rich for tight. I think if they do it, I don't think they're upset about it. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, I'm gonna go Jod Campbell here.
There you go. Okay, that goes to me. Falcons. I want to
Glaring
make
need for this team.
there are
For
some.
years, they've had the same glaring need.
I know, but they're picking in the wrong spot, Mike. They're picking in the wrong spot. Mike is alluding to the fact that this team sucks at getting after the quarterback, and he
No.
is not wrong. But on my board, in the top 10 that I have available, all that's left is a safety.
Hmm.
Um, that's what I've got left. I've got Starks left from Georgia.
How do you say it? Manwari?
I'm not worry.
Mm-hmm. I've got because really, I mean, if you're looking at defensive line here, um, what Don? I'm not even trying. I'm just going to say Donovan Easy from Boston College. I know a lot of guys call him that.
Yeah, that
Um,
would be.
yeah, at the edge could make a lot of sense right here. That's not much of a reach at all. But really, this team does have another glaring need, and they're gonna have their pick. Um, I I love Will Johnson. I think that Will Johnson at corner from Michigan makes so much sense. This dude is 6'2", may end up playing safety at some point, but in his young years, probably going to stay at corner. The Falcons' secondary need here is just
It's big.
glaring,
No.
and they need a number one corner. So I'm going to go Will Johnson at cornerback. Just makes sense, just
I
based on where
think.
everything's at.
Yeah, you took my dude for
Yeah,
the Arizona Cardinals.
I just
Um,
Will Johnson needs to be in the top 15 though, and I say that with all due respect to Barron. I know a lot of people have these guys 1, 2, and you could have them going back to back in any order. Will Johnson's the best NFL prospect at corner.
I don't disagree with you. That's the way I see it. But a lot of people like Barron. He's just a little more rangy, a little faster, a little quicker.
Sure,
Um, but Johnson's just got.
he's just got to beat you up at the line.
He just reminds me of Sherman too. The way he plays the game,
He's a
like Richard
man.
Sherman, like 2.0. Like he's a big
Yeah.
dude. He's tall. He's lanky. So, but yeah, I think Barron is also is honestly. I think we're gonna have two cornerbacks right here in the row in ours.
There
I
you
think
go.
Barron's the way to go for the Cardinals. It's their biggest need and one of the top two, like you said, 1A, 1B
There you
kind
go.
of
I like it.
cornerback situation here, and I think they take them right here, no problem.
That's good. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Alrighty, so that was me with the Bengals.
Oh, son of a
Um,
gun! I just realized my next
Take
one.
take a wide receiver, you'll be fine.
yeah, I was yeah, Matthew Golden, baby. Um, no, I mean, I don't think Hendrickson's staying, so I think they go end.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I think any defensive player probably is an upgrade. They could go anywhere on that,
Yeah,
but I'll probably go with Michael Williams from Georgia. Um, I think that's at this point is the best edge available. Um, let me just double check. 'Cause I'm starting to lose track of names here. Who's on and off our board here?
you got the Boston College kid Donovan Ezeraku still.
Oh, yes. Where's he at?
He's he should be around 17. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I will do him instead. I missed him. Yes. Donovan
Okay.
Ezuraku.
You could just say easy. It's fine.
All right, that's what I'm doing.
There you go. No, it's that. That's
there's
a good
there's a lot of
take.
guys. There's a lot of guys there that are really good. Um, you could also go Shamar Stewart. He's the hands,
Yeah,
in the
Texas A&M.
kind of
Yeah.
guy. Yeah,
Could
Texas A&M
also
kid.
go
Um,
Starks, who's still available at safety, top safety in the draft.
James
Hmm.
Pierce is a good rusher too from Tennessee. But he's
Yeah.
raw, but he's like lots of talent there, right? So But I think you're right with the defensive end for the Bengals. You almost have to,
Mhm.
just because you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose a dude. Oof.
Yeah.
I
Yeehaw.
okay. That
I'm
gives me the next one. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm Seahawks, my second least favorite team in the NFL. Loving that I get all these picks. I'm just gonna go no brainer here. I know they've been drafting a lot of offensive linemen, it seems like, over the last 4 years. But if Josh Simmons falls to me right here, that's one of the cream of the crop tackles in this draft, and I'm gonna take him. If I'm the Seahawks, that's a no brainer. Solidify that offensive line, get that last piece that you really need. Offensive line, depending on how you look at their needs, is in pretty much everybody's top three in some order. And Simmons is coming off an ACL tear, so I understand like there's a little bit of that, but he has crazy great flexibility around the line. And I think just a solid get. Ohio State just produces bangers. So
The other one that I would be happy with, again, just what I'd be happy with. It's a little rich for a guard, but I think if Gray Zabel's there, they also have that conversation about Gray Zabel. Um,
second round.
um,
Second round.
I don't.
Uh,
I would not care. I want interior help so bad, and so if they draft a guard at 18, I'm happy.
I think the other pick, I mean, if there's a plan at offensive line that, obviously we're unaware of, um, I think another one that would be really interesting for you guys is to go Luther Burden, who is one of my favorite players in this draft, the
Yep.
wide receiver out of Missouri. Just to complement the fact that DK left and JSN's great and everything, but Burden is a special playmaker, even though that dude's just listed up right under 6 foot. He's crazy good.
Yeah, I think their
Love
first two
him.
picks is lineman, wide receiver.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And
Wherever
yeah,
that happens, I actually don't care a whole lot. As long as
Burden
that,
might fall just because of his size. He could fall.
yeah.
So that could be a move up scenario if you guys are in love with him. But yeah, let's go Simmons there, tackle.
Hey, boy, Tampa Bay. They wanted Campbell, but we had the Colts taking him, and you took Simmons, right?
Yep.
So the Buccaneers, they could go safety. Oh man, linebackers aren't great here. I think the cornerbacks not real great anymore. Boy, you guys have been taking all kinds of good stuff. Could we go running back here? Could this be the big kid out of North
Um,
Carolina?
You don't have to.
I don't like that there.
But
No, I think they feel good.
I don't know.
I think that
I like
I
moving
think
off
you
of
want to
running back.
save you might want to save that running back for his team that's coming up
No,
very soon.
that's fine. You want to save the one for the next guy. I get it.
Uh, but no,
Um,
I think they need help with linebacker,
yeah,
corner. Everybody needs an edge guy. There's also a I mean,
I'm
top
going.
10 player available and a position of need in safety for them.
That's what I said first, right? The safety
Yeah.
position. Yeah, let's go ahead and I'm in worry. Safety.
Okay.
Nick, I'm in
You're
worry.
skipping Starks?
Yeah, I like I'm in worry a little better.
Okay. Somebody's going to get a steal there.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Um. So now it leaves me with the Broncos. All right, it's all about Bo Nix. It's all about getting supporting cast around Bo Nix. So
Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger.
I think I'm gonna go wide receiver though.
Yep.
I'm gonna go wide receiver, and I am going to go Burden here.
Yep.
I think if they for some reason like Golden more, that's fine. But I also think running back, but they can get one of these other top running backs later, and I don't think by the time they come back around that one of these wide receivers will be here. So I'm gonna go Burden here for the Broncos.
That makes sense. Now, something very interesting has happened, you guys.
We still have Golden on the board at It's crazy to me.
But Mike, it happens every year.
No, it's true. It's true.
It
But
does.
he's so quick and fast, and he's like one of those small, quick guys that the NFL loves right now.
I
Oh,
love
you
I
got
love that something has happened.
Campbell.
Nope, Mike just figured it out.
Oh,
no, I saw it. It's what the Steelers have to have happen. It really is.
This is the dream scenario. We did not
This is
plan
it.
this. Completely random. We've just
oh
been
yeah,
going.
Sanders.
Shadur Sanders has fallen to 21.
Yeah.
This is how it happens. Teams start going after their needs, and they're not concerned about the big board and this quote unquote best player available because, again, 31 teams have a plan. I think the only team that messes this up for them is the Browns. I
Yeah.
think that's the only team that messes this up for them. Shadur Sanders goes at 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now they have a plan.
You hope. I could see New Orleans still taking him. Like
Totally.
it's up there of. But I think you're right. I think if the Browns pass on him, I don't see another team that really
Right. The
wants
Saints are
to
an option,
pull that
but
trigger.
it's just not that likely. It's just not that likely. Oh man, we're getting into the fun stuff. These are the teams that I like rooting for.
I don't even
Right in here.
I
So
don't even have to take time for this.
yeah, you
This
doing it?
is like dream scenario for them right now.
Go.
I just typed down Colston Loveland, Michigan tight end. Put him back
Bingo.
with Harbaugh.
Yep.
They need another pass catcher. He is a pass catching tight end. He's not a blocker. They're not even going to ask him to do that too much. They're going
Yep.
to put it. They got their small guy Lad McConkey, who's a stud, and I wanted him on my team last year. But they got Lad McConkey last year. He's out there. He's catching balls. He's a little guy. So Matthew Golden doesn't make any sense. They already have a little quick guy. So give me the big giant in Colston Loveland who's going to catch balls over the middle.
Well, and that makes it easy for me.
Yep.
Matthew Golden, baby.
Green Bay Packer.
Yep. How many times have we talked about they have so many? They have like 5 or 6 guys that are like B minus wide receivers. Like, so this is absolutely where Matthew Golden, if this happens, should go. And I think Jordan Love is happy for his new #1 wide receiver.
Little quick guy. Go.
I I think that let me look real quick. I just want to make sure this guy's available. If he is, that's what I'm doing. Okay, no, that's right. We took that there. Okay, so I think the thing that makes the most sense for the Vikings is a steal of a deal on Malachi Starks at safety. They need to get better at that position, and this dude is a top 10 player. That's the steal of the first round. Either Golden or Starks here, and them going back to back would be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oop, did I cut out?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
All right, okay. What's up? Mike's got next, yeah?
I want a tackle here, but you took Simmons already.
Yeah.
They need to protect CJ. Kelvin Banks, man, Connor. This is too early for Connerly.
But you just said the guy's name. This makes sense, dude. I mean, Banks makes sense here. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just saying.
The Dolphins took Banks.
Oh, Dolphins got Banks?
Yep, and Justin Simmons is gone. All the.
Oh.
Now they still need an interior defense or interior offensive line, so maybe we'll go that way instead. They just need offensive line help. They CJ Stroud running for his life. Do.
Yeah, that was the most head scratching move of the offseason, in my opinion.
Why are you moving off of your? Yeah, you're
outside of the Bengals being ridiculous. Getting rid of Tunsil.
Yeah,
did not get that.
No sense.
You're a who?
Tyler Booker, interior offensive line from Alabama.
All right.
Alabama offensive lineman. You can't go wrong. He's going to play a guard. He can pop over to right tackle if you need him to. I put him in the Viking spot, so the pop them back over. But that's where I'm going to go. Tyler Booker,
Wait, Matt, who did you have for the Vikings?
I had Starks.
safety.
Oh, okay, we just missed that.
Yep. Oh yeah, my bad. Internet. Fun.
Okay. The Rams. I don't know. There's a bunch they need, but at this point, I'm trying to keep track of who's off our board. Um, so you can go.
Um.
I mean, defense is probably where they want to go.
Yeah.
Um, what corners do we got left?
I was looking.
I'm trying. Sorry, I'm trying to.
I mean, there's a
Quarterback.
pretty easy one at the. I think it's actually. I would say their biggest position needs linebacker, and I think that Jalen Walker would fit real nice right here.
Um, wait, did I not?
Possible.
I already picked Jalen Walker.
Yeah,
Panthers.
Jalen Walker's off the board.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Okay, my bad. I see it now.
Otherwise, I would have picked Jalen Walker on one of mine.
yeah.
Everybody wants Jalen Walker. Yeah.
Man, the cornerbacks aren't great at this point.
I know. That's why I'm. I mean, do you just go like edge rusher
You
instead?
can't go wrong, right? They got their two defensive tackle studs.
You looking at
Well,
Pierce?
I was looking at either Pierce or Williams, probably.
either one of those guys would be really good.
Let's go. Let's go Pierce. Yeah, I think from was that Tennessee? Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
go James
Yeah, yeah.
Pierce.
He's raw. He's raw, but he's like physical stud.
Yeah, let's go James Pierce
Edge.
Okay.
for them. I think yeah, you can't go wrong there.
Um, man, I think the Ravens' best option earlier, Mike with the interior offensive line.
Yeah,
Um, so I think realistically, that's that's where they want to be, but um, looking at what's available, they may need to go corner, or there is one interior defensive lineman that they could consider if they want to just wait on a guard. Um, yeah, that in mind, I think probably just for the sake of quality of what's there, we're going to go and take the other side of Michigan's interior defensive line and take Kenneth Grant
that's a good one.
right here. I think that makes a lot of sense. He's 340 pounds, 6'3", fast as can be.
You don't move the dude. It's just
No,
the way it is.
no. I do think that there's some rawness there where he could have spent one more year in college and just become dominant.
Yeah.
But no, his just size and quickness, it's going to make a huge difference in the NFL. And these guys love to get after it on the inside. So that's the hardball way. So that makes too much sense. He's a Raven.
So I have the Detroit Lions. Hutchinson's coming off an injury. Marcus Davenport, who hasn't played in like 2 years, basically, is their starter on the other side.
You just took my
So
guy.
give
gonna
me
happen.
Michael Williams from Georgia,
Yeah.
Georgia pass
That makes
rusher
sense.
for Detroit. Give him a dog for the Detroit Lions. That coach loves his dogs, as he likes to say, right? So, boom, Michael
That
Williams.
makes sense.
All right. Well, I think we're just gonna do a little run here of edge because I'm going Shamar Stewart for the Commanders. They need help on defense,
Yeah,
and I mean, we made the joke off time. There's no problems with their offense. They just gotta they used all their picks on defense. They've been in a good spot. So I think they'll go Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M here. He's probably the best guy that's left at this position. And they need someone. I mean, yeah, they need anything on the defensive line. So
Okay. I have. Sorry. Who do I have right now? I got the. Are we all the way to the Bills?
Bills.
Holy cow. All
Yeah.
right. All the way to the Bills. That's what I thought. All right. So this makes too much sense for them. They found a running back and don't need it. I am going to go ahead and take Trey Amos from Ole Miss at corner.
That's a good get.
Yeah, they definitely need to solidify a corner spot. Dude is 6'1". Love that. Um, Long arms, strong potential to be a CB1, and he's older. Like, he's just over 23 years old right now, and is a graduated senior. Love that. He also, I know not everybody's big on PFF. I'm a fan. Okay, so hate on that all you want, but he's got a top 20 grade in all of college football, and I love where he's at right now. So Amos makes perfect sense for a team that needs to solidify that spot.
This would actually not be a Bills here, as I like Amos and your pick there, and I think it'd be super smart of them to go that way. But Egbuka, the wide receiver from Ohio State, would also be a really good pick here for them.
Yep, I get that.
I mean, Allen with another pass catcher would just be a really good spot here. And it's kind of hard that he's fallen this far, and we haven't taken him. But I don't see Kansas City taking him either. They already have their small fast guy, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I would be surprised if these last two picks don't get traded out.
yeah,
Just for people trying to get back into the first round for some of those fifth-year options for some guys that they like.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't even cost much. I don't think so, or I don't think either.
Yep.
But I think this is where Harmon drops to. I think this is it. I'm going to go Derek Harmon, defensive line for the Chiefs here.
See, now I'll just push back and say I would have gone Oregon Ducks, but I think their greater need is Connerly.
Yeah,
and I think the offensive tackle spot makes more sense for the Chiefs.
They just signed a dude from the Niners for offensive tackle.
Sure.
They paid him like $40 million. They think he's
understand.
The dude.
Yeah, they're crazy.
That's why I'm going to go here.
Jalen Moore is a mediocre starter, and you know it.
I know it, but the Chiefs think he's awesome. So his PFF grade was pretty good, just when he filled in for Trent Williams this last year. Maybe that's why they paid him. I don't know.
Sure.
What you got for the Eagles?
all right. This may seem a little redundant, but I think they go secondary again. I know they just drafted Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, but Gardner Johnson's gone. I think they need another safety, and I think they go Xavier Watts from Notre Dame.
I like that kid.
That's where I think they do. That or some, defensive line also. But I'm gonna go Xavier Watts as the last pick.
I was gonna say defensive line's kind of been picked through at this point, I would think.
Yep.
But
I mean, I like Stewart from Texas A&M.
I already drafted him.
Yeah, he's already gone.
Stewart? You
Commanders.
Stewart?
Commanders.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you did. Darn it. That's fair.
Now we know who wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
I wasn't paying attention, Matt.
I'm looking at my next thing. I mean, it really depends though on who you value in that safety pick there, because I think Winston from Penn State.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
It's how you want to come out of it, right? It's like how you want to run your defense is really kind of what comes down to some of these safeties. They're so similar. And
I would say
Yeah.
though the big knock on Watts in particular, and I think we will probably get the opportunity to talk about this on Thursday during our live episode. But Watts doesn't tackle real great. Like he's a ball hawk, but he's not a
Hmm.
great tackler. Um, and he's not the most imposing size either. Like he's only about 203 pounds. Not the biggest safety in the world. You want to be more in that like 210. I'm not saying that's a huge gap or anything,
Right.
but Winston just carries a little more weight, a little more height. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like Watts a lot. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I think maybe there's just a little better ceiling on Winston just because he tackles better. So that's me. But no, that Notre Dame secondary could have a couple names called potentially at the end of that first round. That'll be really
Hmm.
interesting.
Yep.
Just looking at Morrison as well out at corner. They
Hmm.
had a good young crew coming out of that team. Well, that's our 32. When you look back at it really quick, guys, before we wrap it up here in a minute, anything that you're like, yeah, I don't think so. Like you were listening to the other dude call it and you don't like it. Is there any of those picks where you're like, nope?
No, I mean, in some ways, this is kind of easier to honestly as we're going through it because you're just like, who's the bet? Because everyone's going for need, right? Because there's not a lot of crazy talent, so it's just
Yeah, it's not like best person available. You're like, well,
it.
best person available is very close to our need guy over here. So why wouldn't I just do that?
Yeah, like
Um,
I mean,
I
I don't know if Shadur is
yeah,
gonna be there. That's my big thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the draft really starts, you know, after the first three picks, obviously. Like that's really where it starts and where we see what happens. Um, I don't know if the Saints can really buy into Derek Carr. Like that's my thing, man. I'm just like, if
Yeah.
I was in that front office, I'm like, is this really what I want to do when I could have a guy like Shador, who I think will be a starter in this
you
league?
got you got Rattler last year. Pick him up
Yeah,
in the
but
second
Mike,
round.
that
You
was
think he
somebody
might be a
else's
guy.
guy. That's somebody
That
else's
is
That's
guy.
somebody else's
yeah,
guy. That's true.
It's Kellen Moore is the new head coach. They're looking for an identity. I mean, I wasn't going to necessarily argue it to death on that pick right then there, but I guess I'll do it now.
You know,
I think that Kellen Moore is looking for his guy. I think the type of ball that he has clearly played, Sanders makes a lot of sense. Like, look at
yeah,
where he's been the OC, the gunslingers style that he tries to implement. And the other thing though that his offense requires is those mobile wide receivers to get out there and go. And they've got one in Olave. That's been a little up and down, but we don't really know what he is fully. You don't because he hasn't had a quarterback yet.
no,
So
no,
maybe
and even Carr was hurt like half of last year. Like Carr's
yeah,
barely even played for that team since he's gotten
yeah.
there.
I don't think Dad's gonna fight it if Shador ends up in New Orleans. I don't think that's the
Yeah.
one he's gonna argue. I think the one he's gonna argue is Cleveland. I
Okay.
think it's the only team that might draft
yep.
him that he lose his mind about. I think he's gonna be fine if his kid plays in New York. I think he'll be fine in New Orleans. So that's not bad ownership. They pay their guys. So like I mean, look at the dudes that have stuck in New Orleans for years. They're very loyal. So I think he'd be good with that one. But yeah, I agree. I think that's the one. We made the pick we did with Membu. Because you get the quality player there, and we just don't know the scenario. But I think Kellen Moore is going to look for his dude. That's me. I really, when I go back and think about it, that's probably what I do.
But
Uh,
also they could be like to the front office, be like, hey, we're just gonna try and get a good starter here, and then look to next year to get our guy, and like the ownership,
Manning.
the
Yeah.
ownership may be like, yeah, you're cool. Like this year's kind of just a, we're not really gonna hold this year against you kind of thing because they're not in a great spot. Like,
Well, and every New Orleans Saints fan would literally jump out of their minds if Arch Manning comes home, right? Because that's
yeah,
where his
oh,
daddy
sure,
played,
sure. I
where
mean,
his
every
grandpa
they
played.
they
Like
wanted
that's
anybody last name Manning.
yeah.
yeah, like that. And so if they're looking to be like, hey, let's just rebuild, and this isn't a great quarterback draft,
Let's not
like
force the issue.
yeah, like all the experts are like, even Cam Ward, right, is on the level for the most part of like Penix, right? Like he's not even wouldn't it he'd been like top 4 quarterbacks last year and maybe
He's not
top
even top.
3
He's not
or
probably wasn't top
next
three.
year. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And so you're like some people are like he's kind of Bo Nix-ish on my board for like where how he's going to turn out as a pro. And yeah, and all these guys really don't know for quarterbacks because only like 1 out of 5 hit anyway. But you're looking at this and you're just like, maybe we just wait till next. Let's just build up what we have. Let's get a Membu who's going to start at left tackle for 10
A
years.
decade. Yep.
Yeah, and then let's build around a team. Go for what we can at quarterback this year. See what Rattler is, and go draft our quarterback next year if we suck. You know, like that's really kind of what it comes down to. I think so.
One
I like.
last. I was gonna say one last question. Outside of the top 4, what pick do we love? What pick do we love for that team?
I mean, obviously the easy one is the Raiders. Like we said that.
Oh,
That one
yeah,
instantly makes
but
sense.
Genty to the Raiders, or if Genty gets to the Bears, those would be amazing picks.
Mm.
Um,
I mean, for the Cowboys, I like McMillan there. I mean, as much as I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
yeah, that's makes too much sense, so they won't do it. Thank you. But
Yeah, true. That's
That's
true.
fair.
I like I like Will Johnson to the Falcons. I really like
Hmm.
that pick for them. I
Yeah.
don't think he'll be there. I really don't.
Right.
I think I have a hard time seeing both those quarterbacks falling that far.
Yeah.
But again, it's based on need at this point. We've said it a million times already. Like once you get past like 9, 8, 9, you're like now these guys kind of grade out the same.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
what does our team need? Who's the guy on our board?
Oh, I,
Well,
I also like
And all the
that.
experts are kind of saying the same thing, right? They're like, we really this is so hard. Nobody's going to want to trade because if I trade back 10 spots, I'm going to be able to pick up the same guy, but nobody's going to trade up those 10 spots to go get a guy because they think they're going to get the same guy 10 spots later. So
Yeah.
it's unless something happens, unless you're
right.
unless you're
I
sitting.
also do like the run right after Sanders, the 3 picks after that 22,
Yep.
23, and 24.
Yeah.
I think those teams would be over the moon to get those guys.
That's Loveland to the Chargers, Golden to the Packers, Starks to the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to mention the Loveland one's probably my favorite pick in the entire first round outside of Genty. I will
Dude,
say,
big pass
Mike,
catcher.
if you look back at the board and if I just told you this before we started, I think Mike would disagree probably vehemently. We took 4 of the 5 offensive tackles. There's gonna be a 5th offensive tackle that goes in this first round. Now we did it based on the position needs of the Chiefs and the Eagles,
Yeah.
but if you can get the 5th-year option on an offensive tackle,
That's
you will
so
do that
valuable. You'll trade
all
back
day.
into the. Also, you
Yeah.
could trade back. PNC teams trade back in just to grab that.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're looking at
Right.
like Ravens down probably, even the Rams. Rams are known for like being easy to trade out of the first round, right? I could see the Rams getting out of the first round, getting a top second round pick, and somebody jumping up there for an offensive tackle just to get them.
Yeah, because they'll
Like I
take the
completely understand all
youthfulness.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they totally would. And we know for certain that while the Ravens could definitely take Kenneth Grant at 27, that there is no way if you're the Chiefs or the Eagles in particular that you want to draft a defensive tackle or a safety and get a 5th-year option on one of them.
Yeah.
Given what the markets
yeah.
are on those positions, you definitely don't want to do that. Trey Amos is just a great fit for the Bills. And I
agree.
think the Bills would take that all day and take his 5th-year option because the cornerback market's going to be at 24, 25 million by the time his contract comes up. So if he is a true number 1, they'd be glad to draft him right there. But yeah, they're not taking defensive tackles and safeties with those last 2 picks. That's just it's almost a wasted pick.
Yeah.
Because of what those positions will provide in accordance to the market and how they will affect cap. So yeah, but I think there's a lot of good picks in here. Are we right? Probably a few times. Probably.
And we'll make sure to let you know about it when we are.
Yeah, we definitely will. We're keeping this list wide open. So that's us for tonight, though. Going into this weekend on Thursday, we're going to be doing the first round live, as I mentioned earlier. I've asked Mike to come with his 10 best fits for the first round, and we're gonna look at we're gonna play one more game at the start. We're gonna look at who do we think is the most likely to trade. What are the 3 teams that are most likely going to trade here in the first round, whether they're trading out, whether they're trading down, whether they're moving up? Is there going to be a surprise jump? And I think if there's 2 names on the board that if they didn't get picked in the first 3, I think a lot of people are going to come calling in one of those scenarios. The Jacksonville Jaguars or the Patriots could be fielding some phone calls if a Travis Hunter or an Abdul Carter were to move down. And I'll just state my one conspiracy theory to end the show. If the Browns take Sanders at 2, they do the dumb thing, which is the dumb thing to do. Okay, because I agree with our selection of Travis Hunter. If they do the dumb thing, Hunter moves down, the Giants are probably obligated to do it and take Hunter.
Yeah.
Abdul Carter. If there's a need, you go.
Abdul Carter then falls to 4. I don't think that the Patriots don't take him. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, they want him.
That means that the best offensive tackle and the best interior defensive lineman, maybe the best defensive lineman, depending on who you talk to. I understand what Abdul Carter should be. In Mason Graham are going to be available at the 5 spot. The Jaguars are open for business at that point.
Absolutely.
Would they not love Campbell? Sure. That'll be their backup plan. We'll take Will Campbell at 5 if nobody else comes calling.
But what are you going to give me?
But what do you want to give me if you're in the market for A, B, C? I mean, if you want Campbell or Graham and you're sitting and the Jacksonville Jaguars are sitting there with the keys of the castle going, come on, guys, we'll do it. There's lots of guys that they'll take Membu. They don't have a problem taking him later. That's fine. Oh. You're the Saints, and you're going. We have so many needs. Oh my gosh, and we need an offensive tackle so bad, and they don't love Membu. Maybe they want to jump. I think it gets really interesting if the Browns screw this up with the second.
And for the sake of the show, I hope it happens.
Oh, I hope it happens. I hope it happens.
I want to be feasting.
Yeah, Grant won't be jumping out the window he was last year.
No, we'll be on the first level also, so that won't mean anything.
They didn't need to know that.
Well, never mind.
I mean, it's still a little bit of a jump. I will say
it is.
Even your first level is a little bit off the ground.
That's true.
It would hurt.
It's almost
real bad.
You got to go up to your house. It's almost like a brownstone. You got to get up
there. Yeah.
So no, we'll be here for all of it Thursday night. We're pumped for it. I know we're gonna have a couple clips, I'm sure, that come off of this because I did lose my mind earlier, and so we're excited to have you guys join in, be a part of the fun. Come check this out with us. We'll be
live on YouTube.
We will be live on YouTube on our channel. We'll post it the link on social. Keep it in the bio. Do the whole thing, but come hang out with us this Thursday. And let's all watch the NFL draft together and the madness unfold. There's still hope, no matter what your team is. Even if we trash them really hard today and they happen to be in Pittsburgh, there's still hope for your season. And Thursday could determine how 25 goes for you, 26, and years on into the future. Your team could be building a dynasty right now. So let's watch the beginning of that together on Thursday and lose our minds. Let's go.